Hey y'all, Texas Brewster Rooster here. Today we're going to talk about a brew pot that I got the other day. I'm stepping up my brew pot from a 5-gallon 20 quart to a 7.5 gallon 30 quart. This is a brew pot that I picked up from Academy Sports and Outdoors for $50. It's actually a turkey fryer. It's stainless steel. But now you have an excuse when your wife says, what do you need another piece of equipment for? Or why do you need to start this hobby? You got it right there. Baby, Thanksgiving Day we're having fried turkey. So, there you go. But make sure you fry it outside. So, we've got a 30 quart stainless steel brew pot. Unlike my old one, it doesn't have the 3-ply bottom, but for the narrow, for it being a little bit more narrow, it does end up having the same amount of boiling time, which in this case for my electric stove is going to be about 50-55 minutes. It does come with a couple of different things, obviously, because it is a turkey fryer. It does have the long thermometer to it and a hole that goes in the top of the lid so that you can stick this guy right down in there and get a general idea of what your temperature is. I wouldn't rely on it completely because it doesn't have the small gradations for temperature that you really need if you're going to use it for dual purpose as a mash tun or for getting your hot water ready in your liquor tank. So you'll still need a floating thermometer in that particular order. But like I said, it's only $50, and if you're stepping up to a full-on boil opposed to doing extract, it's really worth it. Some of the other issues though that it did have is the rivets on the first one that I went there and got. This is the second one. The first one, the rivets on these things, they leak a little bit. That one leaked a whole lot. It was drip, 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 drip. This one, you know, I went to Academy, took the first one back. I got this one. It's an Academy product, so the exchange was really easy. Didn't even have to show them my receipt. Went back there, got one off the shelf, walked out of the store. This one, it has a slow drip to it, kind of drip. But, you know, it takes a long time for the droplet to even form, and it doesn't even make it to the bottom before the droplet just evaporates because the brew pot is so hot at that point. So my recommendation for you is go ahead, go to the store, get one of these things before you modify it, punch any holes into it, whatever you plan on doing. Fill it all the way up with tap water, and then go ahead and put it on the stove top and try to get it to a really high temperature. Like I said, mine, you know, probably about the 165 170 degree range in there, something like that. The dripping seems to stop. I assume that's probably because the metal has expanded enough at that point to compensate for the difference. So my first 5-gallon brew pot, what I did is, for cooling it, I was putting it in a tub of ice water, and I got tired of lugging around all that hot work, you know, going like this with it, going over to the sink. So I went ahead and I put this nifty valve on the front of it, and that really helped out, you know, whether you've got a wort chiller that you're immersing into your wort, or if you are going out to a counterflow, whatever. This is really going to help you out, save you some time, and it's really worth it. So I've got the new brew pot. I've checked it out and make sure that the leaks aren't extremely bad. Like I said, $50 brew pot. It's economy for the price. I mean, it's not bad. So I've checked it out. I'm going to go ahead and install a valve on this thing, and instead of doing the 2-piece valve that I had before, I'm going to go ahead and step it up, put a 3-piece valve on there. They're a little bit more sanitary. You can take it apart, clean in there, make sure you get a lot of that gunk left over from the boil out. And let's go ahead and mark this. You're going to need a Sharpie. Obviously, you're going to need your valve, whether you're going to use a 3-piece or the 2-piece. I'm just using the ruler here to kind of get an idea for where center is on this thing. And then kind of match it up, see where it's going to be good. And mine looks right about there. Alright, so we've got the Brewpot marked now. Next thing to do is go ahead and drill a hole in there. You're going to need a couple of different things for doing this. Obviously you just saw me with a Sharpie and a ruler. Ruler's just for my sake. But you're going to need a variable speed drill. You're going to need a step bit that's good for up to 7/8 because that's usually the diameter of most of these weldless cooler kits, which is what I'm using. And then make sure you have hearing and eye protection. And then you're also going to need a little bit of oil so that you can lubricate not only your bit but the metal as you're going along. You don't want to start getting smoke or anything like that. So while I was at Academy, I just picked up some of the Hoppy's number 9 for guns. So you can go ahead and use that on there. It's going to be great for those higher temperatures. And yeah, I think that's probably about it. Oh, and you're also going to need a file whenever you're done so that you can file down any burrs that are left over from it. I'm just going to go ahead and use the ones on my Swiss Army. You can use a Gerber, or if you really want, you can go and get a round edge file from Lowe's or where your hardware supply store is. Alright, let's get to drilling this thing.